Ladies and gentlemen, it is a Monday once again. It is 10 minutes to 8 once again, and you have tuned in for another episode of How Can the League of Sim Racing Heat create a more dramatic race than they had in the last time, and after what was probably a very high adrenaline race for most of these drivers. Last time we were in Hungary, we have now cooled off and we are back for more action, this time on the beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit. As you look at the track map for tonight's race, we have 19 beautiful turns ahead of us, 7.004 kilometers long, into La Source and onto the Cami straight into Le Combe chicane. After passing through Eau Rouge and Radion, we await one of the most flat out sections on this calendar, as well as turns 15 to 18. That is only when it's dry, obviously, because you will have a nice culling session with the wall if you go off in the rain there in full throttle. A very twisty and still fast Sector 2. And this track is one of the greats Formula 1 has ever raced on, as we have just seen yesterday, despite George Russell being disqualified from the race. We once again take a look at our current race calendar of the season. We have now moved into the second out of three parts of this season, with Belgium coming up next week. We head to Japan. After that, it's Miami and Saudi Arabia. And only with race 10, we synchronize again with the real world. As you can see, it's closely followed by Monza. Another break to Vegas, Baku, and then it's Singapore and Brazil to close out the season, race 15 for season number 5 here. There have been changes to the lineup. As you can see, there's a big question mark for the Alpine driver pairing, because Krankjork has moved to Kick Sauber on the bottom left of your screen, and Katja, who only raced once this season, has left the league. And there was an empty seat, and Krankjork wanted to get that one next to Slayer. And Bosnian Helmet is now currently alone for the Alpine seat. We have some changes to the reserves as well. And with Andy, Geja, Doi, Sinful, Schumi Formula, and Quincy, as well as T-Burn, we have a new guy on the block, GR1 from Australia. Apparently very green in terms of league racing, if I am informed correctly. Let's look the standings for let's start off with the race result from last time. It has not changed after there were no post-race penalties. Andy Andre took the win on the last lap after Moksha collided with the wall in turn 2, at the exit of turn 2. He had the win in the bag because John Meister, who only finished in 5th, helped by the AI finishing his race, was struggling. As you can see on the right hand side, he had the hards on for 33 laps and was looking to at least finish on the podium, and then it just collapsed. Both of them fell down the order. Moksha with 0 points. And Andy took the win. Gian Pai moved to a phenomenal first podium of the season, as Critical limped home with damage he had taken earlier in the last stint after they pitted on lap 15. Yeah, looks like 15. Or at the end of lap 14 to go to the hard tires. Control only in 4th. Penalties again didn't help him. Pedersen 6 had a great undercut, one of the best displays of strategy around this circuit in previous years. And then we had Shaza, Slayer, and Kovatska, as well as Supermax, finishing out the race. And Supermax scoring his first point, and also the first point for Haas. Next up is the drivers' standings. Critical still leads the way with being on a podium every time, but for the first race, Andy Andre is now within 28 points, as you can see. It's a bit blurred. John Meister still in third. Jack, who has missed out last time, is back with us again. Snake is absent for another race. Control behind his teammate for points. Jan by now has overtaken Fellison, and he's in the sandwich of the Aston Martins. Bosnian helmet. Missing tonight again is in P10. Moksha P11. Then it's Slayer, and then the single digits for No Sibo, who's back again for tonight. Kovatska Supermax. Then it's Pies. Krankyoku has now moved, and Gizmikos still without points. And then we have the constructors, as Ferrari is leading Red Bull by 6 points. We got Mercedes and Williams on 69 points equally now. We had 2 teams on 69 the last time. And then Williams didn't score, and another team got 69. Racing Bulls on 60. Aston Martin 54. Scored the second most last time. Then it's Alpine. Then it's Sauber. Then we have the Haas for in P9, and then it's McLaren still on 5 from Spain. Oh yeah, there was a P5 for Ziaktu in Austria then, because I really thought they had not scored yet, but as you can see they have. And now switch to the game lobby. Just give me a quick second. There's some weird noise coming from my room. Okay, it's just the water pump of a nearby water pipe. Oh, Bosnian is here. Oh no, I just stopped the game. Bosnian is here. And someone else. Shaza's here as well, but didn't sign up. But then there's someone missing who I put down as available. Shumi Formula is missing. Okay, so I just put him in brackets and see if he turns up. The usual 18 minutes of qualifying before we head to a 50% race, which is 22 laps long on this track. The longest in terms of kilometers per lap. In time, still very short. Timing wise, like total race time. And obviously Safety cars are one of the big factors here. Because your tires wear so much faster per lap. And it's fully raining. Holy shit. That's for wet weather. Unlike the real Formula 1 FP3 session, we will be seeing some full wet running. It's very quiet at the moment. Despite it pouring down here, so just gonna turn this one up here. And there's a horse on here. Okay, that is quiet for now, but let's see. Okay! Don't crash it like Stroll, I guess. Moksha's out there as well. Yeah, let's discuss drivers. Yeah, just told you about Bosnian being here, so the only remaining Alpine has the chance to score more points here tonight. Moksha is back. He will be looking to redeem himself after what must have been heartbreaking we had in the drivers' interviews. And if you want to hear that, on how he thought about the race after he had ended it on the last lap, check out the Sim Racing Heats YouTube channel. Every VOD of this stream is up of this season has been uploaded there. So if you want to rewatch what was one of the most dramatic things I've seen in commentating so far. And although there was a break for me personally some years ago, I've seen a lot of league races on an F1 game, and that was dramatic. 10 out of 10. Krankjorg, who has now moved teams from Alpine to Kicksauber, as we can see, and he is looking to improve upon his points, which are currently single digit, if any. John Meister is again partnered with Fallison for tonight, currently in P13 on an outlap as well. Here, Pies is back for McLaren, as is Nocibo, who has been in hospital in real life, so glad to see him back, and I hope he can continue with some good midfield performances as he has shown at the end of last season. And Supermax has now started the first hot lap as more cars come out of the pit lane. Mercedes has Kowalska here with us tonight once again. His teammate Andy Andre is currently in the pit lane. And we have control for V-Cup. And then GR1, Guy Repke, apparently from Australia, for V-Cup as a reserve here tonight, as Fallison, Pleasant Snake is still on holiday. Critical damage is already out, not waiting the usual 7 to 10 minutes in a qualifying session, and he's sliding across the little chicane. Gizmokus is his teammate currently in the pit lane. Gianpai, as well as Chaza, both Aston Martins were closely matched in pace, but Gianpai had a better performance in Hungary. There was a mistake from Chaza early on, put him at the back of the field, and he couldn't recover from that because there was also no safety car last time out. But he is here with us once again. And then Slayer, the teammate of before mentioned Krankjorg, who is has put in some point scoring finishes so far, as he's just been passed by Supermax, who himself just got his first point last time out, and he is from Belgium, so you will be looking to make use of the home advantage, but currently that seems to be a drifting session for him, as Moksha was second out there, just beats his time by almost 6 seconds. Next is No Sibo over the line, goes to P2, and then it's Fellison into the 1 minute 58, so the first guy under the 2-minute mark. And then it's Critical who will be starting a lap, and Krankyok into third at 2 minute 2.9. Next up, that is Kovatska, has already used his deploy, but that's interesting. Over the line now, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2, 3, 2 minute 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. That looks actually very great. 2, obviously, if you discount the 0, then it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Very lovely number here. A slide into the bus stop chicane. The track has been remodeled by Codemasters for this year's game. Looks fantastic to me, feels great. A bit like a new track, as Pies goes to P5 for the moment. And there's Williams, and that it's Jack. And he goes over the line for a 2 minute 0.6. And that currently puts him at roughly 3.5 seconds. No, 3/10, sorry. 3.5 tenths over his teammate, sorry. And next up is Gianpai, our P2 from last time. Goes into P2. Also on a 58.0. Next is Slayer, invalid. And he is starting his lap. And behind that, that's Control, who goes to third. 1 minute 59.6, and after that it's Chaza, only P12. Nocebo once again to P7. After that, that is another lap of Fellison. John Meister is still on a run, as Critical goes to P1 now with his first attempt. Put it in provisional pole of a time that was 2 tenths faster, as Krankyok goes again. Usually the best chance to get good laps in is by staying out and trying to get into the rhythm, but I feel like the rain is easing off a bit already. And John Meister goes into P1 by half a second. After that we had Kovatska crossing the line once again. And now no, that wasn't Control. Guy Repke is now into P8. Still some gaps between the drivers. Pies is the next to cross the line. Doesn't improve, is 8 tenths slower. Shumi Formula has now joined. Next is Bosnian, who is still starting a lap on the forwards, but this rain seems to be easing off already. So who's that? That's Jack. Doesn't improve. Next to cross the line. Not Chaza, but Gianpai into second now, 2 tenths faster. Slayer has not set a lap time. He will be crossing the line now. P6. And after that it's Andy to take P5. So Slayer has been demoted. And the next was Shaza into P8, as Fellison goes to P1. It's a Red Bull 1-2 for the moment. Half a second in front of his teammate. Moksha into P3. 7 tenths behind the current pole position holder of Fellison. And I think someone has been on the Inters but has switched off them, but this train has definitely turned lighter now. And people should consider swapping. Critical. Starting another lap. There's a Red Bull into the pit lane. Kovetska into the pit lane. Guy Rapke over the line. Goes into P6 and Krankjok has retired. Top of Radion. He's out of the session. Maximum P13. Not the first qualifying session the team was hoping for as they signed them. Pi is into P8 now. Below a 2-minute time now. Next is Bosnian. He needs a lap in. 7.5 minutes to go. Goes to second! 2 tenths behind Fellison. Next to cross the line is Jack. Goes into P3. 2 tenths behind that. And now Gianpai is back into second as he improves by 8 tenths. Over 8.5 tenths faster. And John Meister is the first guy to switch to the intermediates now. And they will be faster soon. And I expect the lap times to fall down by seconds. Minimum 10, I would say. 47. Yeah, 47 is possible, I think. Kuzmiko's still on an out lap. Who's still on a fast lap? Bosnian is... Don't think so, no. Jack isn't. Kritika is about to finish his lap. And will he dial into the pits? He will complete his lap. Let's see how much faster he is. Currently a second behind pole position. And he goes up by 2.8 seconds to a 56.0. Currently not out of fuel and enough time to pull back into the pit lane. As Guy Repke goes up to P7. Good attempt. Just under 600 of a second behind John Meister, who is a big contender for the championship. There's another start overlap for Control, who's currently a bit out of position. And Moksha was into the pit lane onto intermediates now. I want to see this lap from John Meister soon. Sibo starts another lap. Previous one was invalidated. Kizmiko's and Shumi Formula still without a lap, and Slayer's up into P9. Next is Supermax. The people who stay out on the forwards will miss out. 100%. John Meister starts the first attempt into Las Hoas. Let's see how the car behaves here. Uses second gear. Early switch to fourth and fifth gear. Uses a bit of the ERS power to boost them up the gears. And now there's a lot of sliding going on after he exited Eau Rouge and into Radion over the crest. First sector is coming up right now. Criticus into the pits with 4 minutes to go. And it's a second faster by John Meister, which is currently still not faster than P1, or fast enough for P1. Bosnian is still out there on the forwards. If you're on the forwards, pit and go for inters. You're gonna be missing out. And control goes to 55.8, and that's not an invalidation from John Meister. Slow enough there. Suggests that the track is getting faster, but if you can get faster by 5 or more seconds if it dries up. It's light terrain, still like in between. Yeah, it's 3 seconds faster. John Meister will go to pole position with a 55 point something. We'll find out about that. Maybe even lower. Okay, maybe a 47 was a bit out of reach, but should be around the 50s. With his third gear here for entry. Maximum stability. Onto the line. Provisional pole position by 3.7 seconds for John Meister. I hope he has enough fuel for another attempt. And enough time. Please, yellow flag, go away. Kismiko starts an attempt now. As does Chaza. Tuning formula just stays in. Supermax external forwards. Doesn't improve. Jan point outlap on the intermediates. Control. Ooh. Ah, that's Jack, okay. Jack, and then it's Guy Röpke, who's still on the forwards. Don't think that's the call. The tires have changed. Pit for... Ah, he is causing the yellow flag. Yeah, thank you F1 and Codemasters for having it over the line. So if you're out on these tires right now, you don't have time to come back into pits. We are under a minute 40. And let's see who is the last guy to cross the line to start a lap. That's Bosnian. Bosnian Hamel will be the last driver of the current ones who are currently not even on a fast lap. As Kismokus has retired on track. And will be starting from 18 without a lap time. And Guy Repke has retired as Moksha goes to provisional pole position, and these times will be tumbling right now. He has no time for another charge lap. He should have gone maybe again. You will not get around here once again. John Meister has a chance. That was the only attempt for Moksha. Multiple people starting the lap right now. Currently out of position with Andy Andre. Next attempt for John Meister as Chaza goes up into 5th. Stay 2 seconds, over 2 seconds behind. Bosnian has started his lap. Supermax is into P15 but on the wrong tire. And everyone else will just finish their laps off. Jan Pai is the first to cross the line after the flag will fall. And he goes to provisional pole position. He actually made it over the line, so he can actually continue if he wants to. Next is Jack. Can he beat Jan Pai? He cannot. That's P4 at max for the Williams driver. Next up can only be Control. No more time for him, and he stayed on the forwards, as did Pies. So they're gonna be going down the order. Just make sure you don't invalidate your lap time if you're on the inters right now, because everything else will come to you. Fellison over the line. P2 behind Gianpai. Next is Kovatska into P6. Behind that is Moksha into the pit lane. Next across the line is Nocebo, still out on the forwards. He is slower. No, he's not. He will improve. He goes to P13. Next across the line is Andy Andre. Goes to 3rd position. And John Meister is only P4. Is there an answer from the teammate of the car who's currently in P1? No, P6 only. And Critic is the last to cross the line, and he goes for pole position by 9/10 of a second, and Bosnian is into 2nd. So it's cut down to 7/10 of a second. And Gianpai has no answer because he was out of ERS with 1 second over the line to go. And he puts in a decent enough effort for P3, and you really have to ask VCAP and McLaren what their weather radar was looking like, because Control is way down in P11 and has a tough task ahead. There are some drivers who he was beating by over half a second per qualifying session, and now he's currently in P11. Crankyork has retired early on Kismukus and Schumi Formula with no lap time, and everyone who put on the intermediate tire was fast enough to improve. And it's a second between Kovaska and Control there in P10 and P11. Critical pulls out the Magic, the only car to be below a 52.0, and Fellison is back into great starting position. He is the master of the rain in Silly Season Racing League. Bosnian Hammett once again is second to critical damage. He has a good qualifying performance so far. Gian Pai, then Fellison, Andy Andre, John Meister, Moksha, Shaza ahead of Jack for the British duel here. Kovaska in front of Control, Pice, Slayer, Nosibo, Guy Rapke, Supermax, Crankyork, Kismukus, and Schumi Formula. Both of the last cars did not set a time. I forgot to ask about broadcast formation app. It's dry. So there might be some explanations also to why some people could maybe not go faster. It's currently light. Yeah, it's light clouds, so they will be, or there can be still a chance of rain. 30 wise, hard, can once again go full distance, and the medium is also very close to that. So yeah, if you start on the mediums and you have damage on lap 1, just pit for the hards and go until the end of the race. If you start on anything else, the medium is a viable option after lap 7 to go to the end, and even more under safety car. John Meister has switched his tires because the hards are now in the garage, so they are not on his car, as we await the usual non-formation lap start of this league. Very interested to see what happens next time in Japan. One of the best tracks on this game, I feel like, because fast tracks with high downforce feel like such a beauty to drive, but that is my own personal opinion. I just hope they don't scream into my ear now because of the sound once again. 22 laps for these 19 drivers to complete. As we now wait for the 5 red lights to go out. Well, get turned on and then off. As we go to 5 red lights to see who will be victorious on the Ardennes roller coaster, as we have a good start for critical damage. He leads into turn 1. Most of them are on the softs actually. Some are on the mediums. Only one guy is on the hards. Fallison has moved past Gianpoi already. As we can see, they make their way up the hill. Andy Andre is under pressure from John Meister. As Moksha's in there as well. Fallison has moved past Bosnian Helmet and goes into P2. Great start by the Hungarian. And Gianpoi has moved past Bosnian Helmet as well, as there's a spin for Krankjorg at the back. Calamity continues after he had a crash in qualifying. Andy Andre is close to Moksha there, who's starting on a soft tire, and Slayer is trying to overtake Guy Repke into Pool. No. Schumi Formula has spun. Is there damage for Kovacs car? There is front wing damage to the left hand side of the Mercedes. And Bosnian is trying to regain places from ahead, as Critica is trying to check out once again. And this opening lap is once again the most crucial with the changes to the DRS activation. But currently Fallison is in that range. He just needs to make sure he used over half of the battery that has been used. Oh, and control hits the side of Andy Andre. And there's obviously a pit stop now for Kovatska. That's a big bummer here. And Critical has extended the gap in 3 turns to over a second and is now not under pressure from Fallison, but he will be under pressure from the Aston Martin from behind, as we watch from the rear wing view of the Red Bull. And there's the Aston Martin going past and into turn 5. Yeah, that must be turn 5. Gianpoi is on the inside of Fallison. Has the inside for Bruxelles. It's now on the outside. That turns to the inside of No Name. He's racing Bosnian Helmet now. And he has completed the move. And the Red Bull pairing is back together again, as Fallison has opted for the more aggressive soft at the start. And John Meister for the medium, who wants to go longer on the first stint. Question is Fallison faster by default, or is John Meister's overall pace gonna be the deciding factor here? As down from Control has moved past Supermax at Stavolo. And there's another spin for Control. He has no control of his car currently. And it's down back to 15th as Fallison and John Meister actually battle out on track, as Critical takes a 2-point-second lead at the end of lap 3, as Chazo now beats that fastest lap of the Ferrari ahead. And there's a slow Fallison who just locks up. Schumi Formula has spun again. He has pitted for hards already after lap 1 and has now retired on track. And there's a safety car because of that. And all the hard work from Critical has been come undone. And if I were you, go for hearts and do not pit again if not necessary. And no one was close to this pit lane entry. And if so, only Kovatska, who was probably thinking, mate, I just pitted, why should I come in again? And that's a reasonable choice. Let's look at the moves. Guy Rapke is into P11 now, up 4, control is down 4. So very opposite race starts for the guys at V-Carb. And the Andre has lost 3 positions as well as Kovatska has gone down by 8. And the biggest mover is Pies after Guy Rapke. And he's up by 3 into the points paying position of P9. Let's look if there are pit stops. And of course there will be critical into... Janpai stays out, interesting choice. Then it's Bosnian John Meister pits as well from the mediums. Soft runner mostly come in here at the moment. Shaza. Guy Rapke stays out. And there's been a hold up for the Williams. Yeah, basically everyone else is in. And there's been a teleport once again. Let's see who will be coming out. Where's Shaza even opting for the medium tire? That is, at this stage, probably gonna be a good choice for the first 14 laps. So up until lap 18, and after that you just lose out on the tires. Roughly 60%. Yeah, but overall better warm up. Also mediums for Jack, for Slayer and for Supermax. Yeah, just see, if you are inside the DRS chain and you don't need to use a tire at the moment, then it's fine. Like, Shaza probably wants to get past the 3 guys in front of him and then just maybe stay behind Critical, who's our net race leader. After boxing stop, so yeah, Kovatska straight out is up into 14th. Control in 17th. As the safety car will probably be in the pit lane at the end of this lap. Very interesting choice from Gian Pai to stay out on the soft tires. Personally don't think that's the right call. But I've seen races where someone stayed out, it didn't make any sense, and then immediately after safety car another one was called, so you never know. Oh, Shrankyuk was not fast enough. I was so close in Sector 2 already, and now they are just gonna stay out one more lap. If you're new to league racing in general, and you have a situation where pitting to the fresher, softer tire, which would be the medium in this case for Jianbai, is an option because of a safety car, and you didn't pit from a soft, especially from the soft. On the first lap, you had the opportunity to. Don't be afraid to correct this mistake, because you should treat a safety car like it's the last safety car. So have a strategy in mind that brings you to the end of the race after the safety car. Because pitting, especially onto a fresh tire, is not the go-to option in modern Formula 1, especially in this game. So conserving the tires is key, basically. So the less stops, the better, because you are usually not faster. So you had time to think about this for one lap, and then Staken decided to pull into the pits, because now he would have caught up to the safety car line once again at the back of Crank York. And his medium tires would be 2 laps younger than the rest. Doesn't have to go in under non-safety car conditions, as the safety car has just reported to us that it will be coming in. Tires have passed their strong point. You're gonna get them fired up a bit. Although he is not weaving at any stage, which is interesting. These are gonna be cool. 40 degrees. Gianpai's tires are 40 degrees. It gets odder the more I look at it, so that doesn't make any sense to me. Let's look at... well, that's hard to spot. Over 60. And that's mid-40s. Anyways, he will be controlling the race. He could have thought about correcting the mistakes and being back under the safety car. And behind there. But he will have to live with his choices. And as I said, unless there's another safety car immediately followed by this one. Don't be irritated by the top left view, as there's almost a 4-way battle into Urush and Radion, as Andy Andre is racing side by side with Chaza. And there's another contender as Pies is opening this up. Guy Repke is battling John Meister, and Fallison was going at it with Moksha. And Bosnian is currently losing out. There's big collision with Chaza. He's dropping down. No damage, but he's into P10 now. Almost under pressure for Slayer as well. Andy Andre and Pies move past that. And John Meister needs to get a move on. He's also on a tire strategy that will require him to pit, because he hasn't done so. Supermax with a 3-second time penalty, as Kismukus, No Sibo and Krankjok battle it out for P16. And John Meister is spotting pressure onto the sister team. Oh, and there's Critical moving out of the slipstream as well, and they almost went 3 wide into Blanchiment. My guys, that is not happening. Guy Repke has been overtaken, and Critical is fighting Fallison with a 3-second time penalty already. Ah, my guy. As more battles are going on here with Pies and Bosnian. Bosnian is trying to overtake Pies. They touch a bit. And then there was Jack moving past Slayer, apparently. There are 4 white going onto the crest. And on the chemist straight. This is gonna be a bowling festival. Bosnian stays ahead, locks up a bit. Pius is taking advantage of that. And the Alpine is demoted down to P9 already. He was in that fight at the front. Lost out at the start, and now 3 seconds for Crankyok as well. As Slayer is back into P10, his favorite position over the season so far. If there's a P10 spot available, usually Slayer takes it. And now he has overtaken Bosnian as well, who's been passed by Shaza. It's going from bad to worse for the IP. Oh, he has front wing damage on the right hand side. I didn't spot that. And that's another pit stop, my guy. You should come in and salvage some of your race pace. Pies has gone off. Is there damage? Is there damage to the McLaren as Critic is closing in on John Meister? More internet connection issues there. I really want to see that from the outside. As Bosnian has a fight going on with control. Can you please give me a different camera view? No damage. But a spin for Gizmo. Gizmo goes there. And now there's gonna be huge pressure onto the Aston Martin. It's actually fast enough for John Meister. And he himself is fast enough for Critical, so there's no change of position in the top 3. As the V-Carb is out of range for the DRS. And Carney Fellison just has dropped back into the DRS window. I've just been noticing how Guy Repke is using his ERS. That's interesting. At the bottom there, on the telemetry. Moksha is moving in on Ferguson as well. Who goes wide, as I said, right? He's struggling with the car. Bit over the edge for him. Slayer is under pressure from Chaza, and Andy Andre is trying to make his way into the DRS run of Fellison. Is there a chance for Chaza into bus stop as Critical takes John Meister into the bus stop? Also gets DRS from Gianpai. Nope. The bright neon green car stays ahead of the other car, and as it switched to Jack, he has lost control of his car, and at the exit of Las Source, Gianpai has lost the 1 position. Will he lose the 2nd? They touch while going up the hill, while going up Eau Rouge, and by Radion, the cars have untangled, and John Meister is now trying to get on the back of Critical, who does not need to pit again. These tires can go the distance. Won't feel very great at the end, but having an extra pit stop and going through the whole field is probably not going to feel great. And currently, if John Meister would pit, excuse me, because retires in the pit lane, he will come out in P16 or 15, so not the best time. And fastest lap is currently being held by Chaza, as he is still having a shadow behind him. He has passed Slayer on the straight. And let's see if he can get away. There's a 2.9 second gap to the car in front, as John Meister has already lost the DRS. Gianpai has lost the DRS. Kai Rapke is not in there, as Moksha has moved past Fellison as well. And Andy Andre is now being helped by the fact that Fellison is now the new part of the chain. That is the DRS chain. And Gianpai into the pit lane. Let's see where he comes out. Probably P15, presumably. goes on to the mediums for 12 laps. What about Bosnian with his front wing damage? He just stayed out and is currently moved up, as Moksha has moved past Guy Röpke, as Fallison has taken the Williams and the same split second into the Lecombe chicane. And there's a double overtake for the for the Red Bull of Fallison. And now Guy Röpke needs to watch his rear wing mirrors again, because there's a fast Mercedes approaching. Our previous and most recent race winner was also a Mercedes in Hungary. Don't think we can... Oh no, wait, that was a McLaren. Sorry. Mercedes won the Belgium Grand Prix. Heis is no, that is no Sibo. He's under pressure from Kovatska and Gianpai, who's just pitted and came out behind them. And he needs to move past these people very quickly. He's on fresher tires. He has a gap of John Meister with 3-second time penny and Red Bull. What are you doing? Side-by-side action from Gianpai and Nocibo. And there's Kovatska. Side-by-side with Nocibo now. There's an opportunity. Gianpai has an opportunity. Goes to the inside of the bus stop chicane and goes up to P14. It's gonna need Gianpai is 23.6 seconds behind the leader. And that was lap 10. As Jack has moved past control. Into P9. He has not had the best race. And is currently looking at only 2 points compared to his teammate, who will be probably getting P3. I hope I don't have jinxed it now. No, P2, because John Meister hasn't pitted. Obviously. He would be held by a safety car despite them having to open up the gap again. Currently the train, led by Fallison, has Moksha in it and has Andy in it as he moves past Guy Röpke, who's doing a phenomenal job here on this fine day of racing. And he will be looking to probably go to the soft tires, but there is still some laps out there. And Gianpai is into P13, has pitted on lap 10, so... maybe at the end of this lap or next lap, as Control has moved past Jack into P1, turn 1 for P9. That source is a very odd overtaking attempt. Doesn't happen very often. Half a second is good for Control to stay at. Moksha has no opportunity to pass Fallison. Really doesn't need to, just keep it on the black stuff. Same goes for Control, who's just had another time penalty, 6 already. Guy Röpke up by 9 at the moment. Kovatska has moved past Nocibo for 14th. None of these drivers need to pit again. As Critical has signed out, says, yeah, I'm ready for some summer holiday. 4 seconds to the next car behind, which has also a time penalty of 3 seconds. So yeah, Andy Andre and Moksha currently promoted into the podium positions. And I'm interested to see when John Meister pits. Corvette Sky 3-second time penalty. Currently, he goes into the pit lane. That is a very odd strategy. That's hard for 8 laps. That's soft for 8 laps, sorry. My bad. I was talking about how Guy Repke can come into the pit lane soon and it's Chazas now to try and overtake him. I would just wanted to say that Guy Repke could have been pitting for softs already now. With 10 laps to go. And there's another retirement from us. Is that another safety car? It's a virtual safety car. As Bosnian has now pitted for a fresh set of softs. And is probably changing his wing. Yeah, has changed the wing. But needed a first core safety car. Double Haas DNF from 2 Belgium drivers. That is the worst that could have happened. And John Meister really can't use the VSC right now because the gaps are frozen and he has no tire advantage or pace advantage over anyone he can use. Everyone can also charge their batteries, so if you're on an alternative strategy you don't want VSC. .5 seconds now the gap to Fallison. And there's been no drive-through penalty, which is good. Great job by these drivers. So that's basically half a lap lost for John Meister, although his tires will be up to temperature sooner. Pit stop for Guy Repke. Softs as well. Gaps were frozen a bit, that helped obviously. But he will be going down. John Meister is a fortune behind. As overtaking him. And Moksha and Andrew will inherit the second and third place. His control is now under pressure from Jack and Pies. Pies is side by side with Jack. Oh, they touch! Pies is spun half around, loses the position. Jack had to go over the runoff area on the inside of Lecom. There's no Sibo racing. Kovacs hard once again for P13 now. Bosnian has pitted so that the position is improved on. And the V-Cup is just 3 seconds ahead of them. And Fallison is still out here with 90% ES charge, 100% for the Mercedes. And Chaza is trying to correct the points for his team. Currently Gianpai is within the 3-second time penalty of John Meister, but he will be going up the field. I expect him to reach Jack, but no further than that. Let's see what the fastest lap of him is gonna be look like. As this podium is not settled for now, but one thing is guaranteed. Nothing crazy happens. Fallison is not gonna be on it. Oh, there was a huge lag for Andy Andre. And John Meister puts it on the table, the new fastest lap of the race. That's gonna be a repassing opportunity for Jack now. And Pies is in this as well. It's Williams against V-Cup against McLaren. Guy Repke gets a 3-second time penalty. Jack has passed the V-Cup and Pies has passed the V-Cup. And there's a 3-second time penalty from Control and Slayer. So Jack is clearly benefiting from time penalty once again. The car ahead is not fighting but within the 3 seconds. And Moksha has lost. Feddersen has pushed a bit. And Moksha has lost out here. Maybe he needs Andy Andre to get back into the rhythm. To pull him through the DS section. And recharge his battery. And he's probably gonna want to pass him for second. And the Critical is running away with it. Max Verstappen 2023 all over again. Pies less than a tenth behind. Oh, they're so close. Don't run into each other. Is there a chance for control? He's side by side with John. John is trying to take him on the inside. SDS now. SDS on the next straight as well. He's moved past. Control into P9. Is there a late lunge onto Pies? Yes, there is. 2 positions and 3 corners. And now onto the back of Jack, who has more DRS. That is clearly the Red Bull by over double the percentage. As Andy has moved into 3rd position. Which will turn into P2. And now Sean Meister just completely goes for it, locks up, cuts the corner. There's a spin by Jack, no! And he's out of the race, and there's a safety car coming out! Oh no, Jack! What have you done? He just lost the car in the exit and went into the left-hand side barrier. And that's disastrous. And there's a drive-through penalty for John Meister under the safety car. Oh my god. Oh my god. John Meister's retired. He has crashed out. No, he's left the session and retired on track. Nah, fam, you don't do this. Don't rage quit. And there's a pit stop for Critical now. There's pit stops for everyone. 3 pit stops. Critical. Yeah, well, Jumper is now back into it, no? Has no time penalties. Is gonna benefit by 4 people in front of him having time penalties. He's held up a bit. Sorry. There's a big chance for a huge scoring opportunity. For Aston Martin, because Chaza has a guy in front of him who has a 3-second time penalty. And he can score podium, and Gianpai has 4 cars ahead that have 3-second time penalties. Guy Repke on his debut is up by 9 positions. Pi is up by 4. Bosnian is down by 11. He's gone to refresh soft. And still can score here. He just needs to move past Sebo, Kovatska, and then get onto the back of P6 to P10. And then he will score. And this is why penalties hurt so much. Critical will just run away with it at the restart. And that's a big blow for Red Bull and for Williams in terms of championship points. Both of them still have someone who is very likely to be scoring double-digit points at the end of this race. As we see that Kranjok is still over a sector behind. Maybe half a sector. Sector 2 is quite long. This is gonna be feisty because Rapke, Slayer, Pies and Control are battling for position. But if they battle too hard, they're just gonna lose out. And yeah, battling too hard will damage all of the races because they can be overtaken by more people. Krankog is again late to the party. Don't know if he's doing that on purpose. Or if that... Yeah, well, there's nothing to gain. I'm just saying he can't do it on purpose. Yeah, well, there's actually a disadvantage. His tires will be warmer because he's racing at normal speed. So that's lap 19, lap 20, lap 21, lap 24. That's 4 laps of racing. If there's no big crash, people with penalties will not benefit from anything. Sometimes there's a crash, people lose DRS to you and then you just can gain some time because you're not fighting. And as you know, as soon as you don't fuck up the second sector and you are within the second before you brake for bus stop, you basically are safe for DRS until the end of this straight, the Campbell straight into Le Combe, what we are currently watching. Critic is probably gonna take the 5th race win. Sorry. It's gonna be race 6. And he hasn't won 2 times. Okay, his 4th race win of the season. Philison probably be P5 if nothing crazy happens. And your Moksha or Shaza podium. Then Guy Repke on his debut, maybe some points, but could still be going out of the points. Skip Slayer, sorry. Slayer, Pies, Control. Jan Pai again could be all in for some points playing positions. Kovetska and P11 even. As I said, if something crazy happens. Staying in front of someone who has time penalties, if inside the top 10, is gonna help you. Nocebo would be benefiting at the moment hugely, also into the points. Bosnian helmet even more, and Krankog a slight touch, but he has very little pace. So there's a safety car reset coming up. This time that by critical damage. Yeah, I was gonna use a brief time. Okay. Let's watch the telemetry of the throttle on the bottom of your screen to see when critical goes. I'm just gonna leave the penalties there because there's no more interesting tire strategy for us to watch. And he has pulled the trigger and we are racing for the final 4 laps of this Belgium Grand Prix for Sim Racing Heat, NSA Pro, NSA Pro, and Bosnian has already moved past Nocebo. It's season number 5 and Critica is going for his 2nd World Championship in a row. And Fellison is moving to show that he is willing to make moves. And Andy has already lost 8 tenths to the guys in front. So he is under pressure from Chaza and Moksha. And these are his 2 closest rivals. And Pies gets another 3-second time penalty. That's more places down for him as Bosnian is really feisty. But yes, Kovacs in one of the worst parts of the track to get an overtake done. He's on the outside here. That's probably not gonna be... Oh, he is to the inside now! Exit of Stavelo. You can see how ES is effective this year. Hot lip against overtake. Kovacs managed that better. Critical has put in the new fastest lap of the race and is going for the full 26 points once again, as Control has moved past Pies. Now they're battling side by side, and Pies is once again ahead before they head down to Eau Rouge and up the hill through Radion. There's DS for most of these guys. Guy Repke has none. Fellison is into P1. Charles have moved past Moksha, and Andy has almost no DRS. Slayer has passed Guy Repke as well. Jian Pai, there's a defense from the V-Cup to the inside briefly. Then there's Jian Pai trying to get the brakes. The breaking point corrected to Bruxelles. There's another duel between Bosnian. Into Bourne goes the Alpine. They touch a bit. And he is ahead, but he has 60% less ERS. And Krankyok has received another 3-second time penalty. He's on 9. And currently only Critical receiving a time penalty is going to take this win away. And Shaza and Moksha are currently out. Almost out of the 3 seconds from Fellison. So they need to make sure they don't battle too much. Or hope that Critical battles Fellison more. Guy Rabke is fighting for his life with Gianpai. There's probably been a lag. Fellison goes to the fastest lap of the race. Bosnian has received a 3-second time penalty, and everyone has moved past the Australian now. And there's also Gianpai on the outside there. And into P9, and is... let's look at the interval again. He's benefiting big from these time penalties. Other moves on the straight. Shaza has been re-overtaken by Moksha. This is for position, and this is for P3 on the podium. The final spot on the podium. Moksha has half the percentage of ERS battery compared to the Aston Martin behind. And Slayer has to defend himself with 30% charge of battery. And everyone behind is trying to stick with them. Drivers ahead. Let's go back to the leader gap. Chaza's currently still within. Oh, Critic is now under pressure from Andy Andre. If the Mercedes gets past the Ferrari, he's gonna win this. This is now suddenly very interesting. Critic is moving out of the slipstream, cannot get past the Red Bull ahead. This is the freeway title fight between the top 3 teams of the last decade before we hit the 2020s. They are side by side, and Andy has taken Critical on the outside of Lasores, and both of them have DS now. And there's a huge chunk of ES bursted upon by Andy Andre, and he has just maybe taken it away. Fellison is staying to the right hand side. It's Andy against Critical. Is there going to be a Zonta Mikael in hacking and move? No, there's not. Critical has maybe bunched in Andy Andre a bit here on the last lap. And they're very, very low on ERS. And Moksha and Shaza are coming into this battle frame right now. So there will be probably an opportunity into the bus stop chicane for the win. I wanted to say Sonntag, Häkkinen and Schumacher, but instead of Mika, I wanted to say Michael. A last lap overtake for the win. Back-to-back wins for Andy Andre, but he's currently 7/10 behind. That is not enough. He needs to get... He needs to get past Critical. These are the final meters. Can Critical put a buffer between him and Andy Andre? That's the name of Fellison. Is Andy going for it on the inside? No, he's not. He has used all of his charge. And they were side by side at the exit of the last turn. Schaza even gets past. Schaza has moved into second place on the line. And Moksha stays in fourth position. There was too much battling going on. And Andy has lost out at second position. On the line. Fellison into P6. Oh my god. What did Andy do there? I couldn't really see. They were just going out at the end. Oh my word. And it's 6/10? No, that was the gap to the leader. That was the gap to the leader. It was so close probably. Schaza into second position. What a drive. Back to back second places for Aston Martin. As Mosha misses out. But Critica is once again on the podium. Wow. More drama. I told you at the start of this broadcast, I told you this is gonna be you tuning into another dramatic episode of the sitcom Sim Racing Heat. Oh my word. Please don't load long this time. Show me the end screen. Please show me the end screen. Why is it loading so long? I don't have a shit PC, bro. Fuck you, game, honestly. We have missed it once more, unfortunately. Oh my word. Okay, let's head to a quick break and then go for the interviews. We are back for the drivers' interviews after this very exciting last stint to this Belgium Grand Prix at the end of the sixth race here. We have once again, for the fourth time this season, critical damage for the interviews for P1. Once again, a fantastic and very dominant drive despite the safety car punching you all together, and there was still quite a nice fight with you and Andy Andre there at the end. Tell me, how much of setup compromise did you do, because there was only rain in qualifying and there was only dry conditions for tonight's race. How do you set up your car when going into the qualifying, and how was that lap you put in there feeling for you?
Well, in terms of car setup, I have no idea what I do. I just copy a setup from the top guys on the leaderboard, so I have no idea what to change when it rains or when it's dry. I just try to do my best. So yeah, apart from cursing a little bit when I see rain, I don't do anything else on the car. Um, and yeah, the quali went quite well for me. I didn't expect us to go on the inters, and I actually thought that my second lap, which was a 56.0, would have been enough. But then I saw Ferguson going on inters, and yeah, he's the master of these conditions. So yeah, I realized instantly that that's the way to go. And luckily for me, the last lap in quali went well, except turn one where I lost a couple of tenths.
Yeah, there was changing conditions. The rain had cleared up quite early on in the session, but Inter tires were not fitted until the later stages, and some names, for example, Control missed out there. Then you went into the race. We had a very quiet one, 6-second lead until the second safety car came out. You were basically leading because three guys in front of you didn't pit. You moved past them. There was a gap again, and then the safety car comes out. Both Red Bulls had time penalties at that stage. John Meister still needed to pit. How was your confidence when going into like this last sprint? Obviously, people can move up and get past and be in like a sort of DS chain that boosts you if you're like out on your own at the front. And but Fellerson still managed to like get into a fight with you. Did you start to get nervous despite him not being in contention for the win?
Yeah. Actually, I did. I always get nervous when a late safety car appears because I know that all of a sudden Andy will be a Jarno Mir and will do fastest lap, and then I know I felt like he wasn't saving energy, but then on the straights he was like gaining 3-4 tenths. So yeah, I always know that when it's a sprint to the finish line, Andy will be there and will challenge me just like he did today. And yeah, it was very interesting last lap, especially the turn after the main straight. I'm not sure. I have to rewatch the stream, but I think we were three wide there. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Yeah, I just had to do yeah, whatever I could without touching the guys. Hopefully, luckily, Ferguson gave me some space on the inside, so I survived. But yeah, Andy actually did an amazing turn one. He completely took me by surprise, and yeah, I thought that the race is done. But then yeah, it seemed like I had a little bit more straight line speed than him. But yeah, I'm not sure. Amazing, anyways, amazing racing.
Yeah, that was fun to watch as always between you two. Obviously, that's the 4 win in the back now. We have started getting into the second leg of this season. Your main contenders are losing out on some positions. John Masters once again not put up with his race result as a performance, and some more bad results early on for Andy mean that you're currently leading by some margin. Obviously, the next race is going to be there in 7 days' time. What do you think is your plan going into the next race in Japan?
Well, first of all, I need to do exactly what I did yesterday for a little bit, just check the strategies because today I knew exactly how much will each tire last. That's why I went on the medium actually, and I saw the guys went on hard. I'm quite confident I would have made the mediums last until the end
I am as
with
well.
maybe under 50% wear. So yeah, I just want to do that to not get completely humiliated like I did last race. And yeah, other than that, just do a few laps, see exactly how the car feels under the random setup I choose from the leaderboard, and go from there.
Okay, we'll be looking out to see what this very different track to today will have installed for us when looking at you once again. Thank you very much for the interview once again, and see you next time.
Thanks. See you next week. Bye.
Bye. And for the second time in a row, we have Aston Martin in second place, and this time it's not Gianpai, it's Chaza. Congratulations on your P2 tonight. There was some racing from you. You had no time penalties, you were in the right spot at the right time, and on the last lap in the final corner, you took Andy to clinch second place. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, pretty good. I had pretty decent pace considering how quali went. I was really struggling in the wet, so I didn't expect too much in the race. But when the safety car came out, I was quite happy to go on the mediums to the end. I had pretty good tyre deck, not too bad. I was making positions, decent moves. I had a little incident, but just managed to keep it out of the wall, so pretty happy.
There was a lot of fighting in the midfield there when the last safety car hit. We had multiple cars with time penalties, especially in front of your teammate. There was a good chance you could line up some good points today, and you did. How was the fighting with Moksha and the guys around you when the first safety car hit? Obviously, we had a mixed start with different cars on different tire strategies. How do you feel the racing standard was tonight?
Yeah, hard but fair, really. Just tried keeping it clean, try not to get any penalties. I had 2 warnings, so I was pretty close. But yeah, I think we kept losing DRS a bit, so I was working with Moksha, trying to catch back up. And then to get the position at the end, get past Andy, just about got the traction down. So yeah, pretty good.
Next time we were heading to Suzuka International Circuit. Do you think you can repeat what you have achieved today, or is this maybe just a sign in the right direction as of right now?
I haven't been using no assist for too long, so hopefully it's a sign in the right direction. But this is one of my better tracks, I think. So not too confident for Suzuka.
All right, then wishing you the best of luck for the next race in 7 days' time, and thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you. See you next week.
Goodbye. And on the last and final step of the podium, it's once again Andy Andre to take P3 tonight. That was some close racing, and at the end you just missed out to the Aston Martin there. How do you feel about this final lap battle right now? Do you think there was anything done wrong by any of the other drivers, or did you just have tough luck there?
No, the racing was fine. I think, as you said, it was a bit of tough luck. I had the win in my sights. I tried to go for it on the main straight, but I also didn't want to be too aggressive. Critical was pretty much the fastest car over the qualifying and the race, and I didn't want to spoil it for him in the last lap. So yeah, as I said, I didn't want to be too aggressive, but so I kept behind him in the last chicane. But he went a bit too heavy on the power and lost the rear and had a bit of a half spin, which I slowed down to try to avoid, and that's when Chaza overtook me in the last corner. So yeah, I lost the position then. But yeah, it's racing. It's how it is.
There were very much mixed conditions for this night's Grand Prix. Qualifying was full wet then to Inters. How do you feel you were battling with these conditions? Do you think there was more lap time to be found in your final qualifying run?
I honestly I don't think so. The qualifying was pretty decent. I mean, I was genuinely surprised at how fast the other guys were. This track was pretty fresh in my memory, and I didn't give it much attention over the last few days. I was expecting to be up there among the top three for certain, but yeah, barely got a few P5 in qualifying and lost a few positions at the start of the race. And actually, the guys ahead were pulling away at the beginning, so I was struggling a bit in P8. Yeah, not my greatest race, but a good result in the end.
Yeah, obviously, you were fighting for that. Basically order of the how the podium was looking, because Wellison obviously had that time penalty when heading into the last safety car. There were obviously moments where you were not that close to them, but then at the final stages you could claw it back. Was it mainly because they had some pace at the end, or did they just battle too much so you could catch up?
After the last safety car, I didn't have a problem keeping in the DRS. Of course, the gap before that was very large to critical, and I had no chance to catch up. But the safety car put me right back in the fight, and especially with Fellowson there, I thought there was a realistic chance to actually go for the win. But as I said before, I didn't want to be too aggressive about it. And in the end, I think a P3 is a fair result for me today.
And next week we head to Japan. Suzuka, what do you think is the main ingredient to get you back to the top step? Obviously, you won in Hungary, but it seems like you're just a bit behind there on the pace of Critically. Do you think you can do more to get him?
Well, honestly, I love Japan, and I'm so sad I'm gonna miss this opportunity. I'm not gonna be there next
Okay.
week.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge for it, yeah, sadly it's gonna have to be Miami, which I very much suck at, and we'll see. Hopefully, I'll get a few points there too. But I would have loved to take on Japan with the guys. Yeah.
Okay, then wishing you the best for Miami in 2 weeks' time, and thank you very much for the interview once again. And now we move to.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, see you. We move to our final interviewee, and it's gonna be Williams pilot Moksha once again. Moksha, that was quite some redemption. P4 there at the end, big haul of points you missed out on last time. Do you think you have redeemed yourself after what happened to you in Hungary? And do you think this was just one misstep in a very good season you're having right now?
No, absolutely. Last week would have been good points, but I threw it away in the last lap. Unlucky, but it is how it is, and I feel pretty happy about the race today. Could have been worse. Could have been, I think, a bit better. I think I misjudged the battery at the end, and the guys were pushing it, and yeah, I missed out. I think on the critical points there.
Yeah, obviously you were talking about this last sprint from the safety car. When the first safety car hit, most of the guys, including yourself, went for the harder compound to push it to the end. Do you think you had the perfect strategy in mind to make sure you stay ahead? And especially one of the biggest things we have seen in recent times is obviously penalties. So were you struggling with track limits tonight?
No, I think I have one warning. I was not struggling at all. I mean, it's a critical track for that. But I was carefully driving it, and if you go over the track limit, there's a pretty high chance for gravel or grass, and you're losing time anyway. So just keep it in track there.
Yeah, that is one of the classic F1 circuits. Next time we'll be heading to Japan. Can you get into the top 5 once again there, or is this one of your least liked tracks in the calendar?
Yeah, I actually think not. It's a worst track for me, a really bad track. One of my worst actually, and yeah, we raced a 5-lapper with Andy there and Fellowson, and these guys had speed already without preparement, and yeah, I think it won't be possible next week.
Okay, still.
But you never know.
Yeah, that's true. You never know in this league. This has been stated as the perfect example by yourself last time. So still fingers crossed for you for a good result. And maybe speak to you next time. Have a good week and see you in 7 days time for Japan.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. And with that, we conclude tonight's episode of More Drama at Sim Racing Heats Season 5 for the NSA Pro Split. And if you enjoyed this, give me a follow to see this channel go live again in 7 days time for the Japanese Grand Prix for race 7 of season number 5. If you have missed any of the previous ones, check out Sim Racing Heat on YouTube. You will find any of the previous streamed races on there and can watch them back at your pace. If you want to see the last lap drama of Hungary, once again, feel free to do so, but be warned if you're using headphones, because I screamed a lot in this race. Next time is going to be interesting as usual, I hope. Maybe there's some rain in there as well. And let's see and find out what is in store for us next time in 7 days time, 5th of August, for race and number 7 in Japan. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. Ta-da!